Hello, good evening, one and all. Today is the second day of UGC Paramarsh sponsored 1 week long faculty development program on information communication technology for teaching and evaluation being organized by Marathwada Shikshan Pratharak Mandal's Sri Shivaji College, Parbhani. In our last session that we enjoyed yesterday, it was the online education in the country being disseminated by IIT Madras through its BSc online degree as well as NPTEL MOOCs. Today we are having an equally important topic, that is Google Classroom. Every teacher's tool for his students, we can say that. So today's topic is Google Classroom, and we have an expert master with us, and the resource person has the first-hand experience of using this Google Classroom for years together. And to begin this session, we are having with us our beloved principal, Dr. Balasahebji Jadhav sir. I request our principal sir to formally welcome today's resource person, Dr. Binu Thomas sir. Over to you, Principal Jadhav sir.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello. First of all, I welcome all the participants for joining step by step, and the very good response given by all the participants from all over India. On the behalf of MSP Mandal's myself, Principal Dr. Balasaheb Jadhav, welcome Dr. Binu Thomas sir. He is from Marian College, Kerala. Actually, nowadays it is very necessary to teach the student online, or we took the online classes. Maximum 30 to 40% syllabus must be teach on online, and therefore the one concept of this Google Classroom is very important. And only due to this, we are going to arrange such type of the ICT FDP. I could not take much time of Dr. Binu Thomas sir. I again welcome all the participants, and as well as Honorable Dr. Binu Thomas sir, Marian College from Kerala. And I request Dr. Rohidas to start the Binu Thompson sir's lectures. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your warm welcome at us. Now, I must share something to with the participants. First about my college, and then about obviously about Binu sir and his institution. Friends, as you know that Sri Shivaji College, Parbhani is a beneficiary of UGC Paramarsh scheme. That means it is a A+ grade college. Our CGPA is 3.52, and we have got so many UGC schemes under the able leadership of Dr. Balasaheb Jadhav sir. And we are having 7 mentee institutes for accreditation and quality enhancement process, and we are mentoring them. Likewise, today's resource person, Honorable Dr. Binu Thomas sir, is also IQAC coordinator of A+ grade college, which is also a Paramarsh mentor college, and they are also having 7 mentee institutes, and one of them is from Northeast. They are doing collaboration with Don Bosco College. So it is just a sign how wonderfully they are doing at that part of country. I mean to say that it is not there in Kerala, but it is in the entire country they are doing. And Professor Binu Thomas is a widely traveled man. He is the citizen of the globe that way. Man of information and technology, who is a very popular teacher in his college. The college is an autonomous institution, obviously. And one more thing is that it is known for innovations in education, particularly teaching learning process is very, very innovative in the Marian College, wherein Dr. Binu Thomas sir is the coordinator of internal quality assurance cell. In addition to coordinating the internal quality assurance cell, he is also leading the teaching learning center, that is a specialty of that college, and he is joint director of Marian Institutes for Innovative Teaching, Learning and Evaluation. So Mittal is their own organization which is dedicated for innovations in teaching, learning and evaluation. I have been to many institutes, but this is for the first time we come to know that some college is having a dedicated institute for innovations in teaching, learning and evaluation. And we are lucky that today we are having none other than the joint director of Mittal with us to deliver his talk on Google Classroom. Actually, Moodle is Professor Binu Thomas's pet topic and theme. He knows everything of it, and even he knows this also. But I thought that it would be more convenient for us to first go for the Google, and then we will, in the next run, maybe after 15 days, sir, we will take your help or guidance for Moodle also. One more specialty of Dr. Binu Thomas is that he is recipient of Colombo Plan Foreign Deputation Scheme for Indian lectures under South Asian Association for Regional Corporation. So SAR Corporation has facilitated Honorable Binu sir for travel, and he is the fellow of that. In addition to that, he is also known for developing 5 Moodle courses: Basic Introduction to Moodle, Moodle Site Creation, offering courses through Google Classroom, video content creation, and outcome-based education. Many of us who are the advanced learners of the higher education field in the country, they know that what is the relevance of these 5 topics that they have selected for Moodle courses. That means Dr. Binu Thomas and his team has a vision to see beyond the future, and that is why they have developed such courses. There are so many things that I can share with you about Professor Binu Thomas, but I will not take much of his and your valuable time. Just one thing I must share with you is that you can imagine what is his authority in the topic and what kind of speaker he is. Last year in December, we were there in University of Goa for the IIT Bombay sponsored organized T4E 2019 conference. It was an international event hosted by IIT Bombay in the Goa University, and esteemed guest for today was also a panelist for one session there in the conference organized by IIT Bombay, wherein more than 130 participants were from outside the India. So this is what he is, and we are fortunate enough to have him this evening with us. I'm sure that he will tell in nutshell each and everything about Google Classroom. It is not an easy task to deal with such a vast topic in the span of 90 minutes, but the authority that he holds on the topic and the ease that he has with the working on Google Classroom will make us understand the concept in detail. So once again, I welcome you, sir, for this FDP course, and over to you, Professor Dr. Binu Thomas, Marian College, Kerala.
So a very good evening to all, especially beloved principal. A warm good evening to all, and a big salute to Bala Sahib sir and my friend Rohida sir, and all the participants in the now 592 participants in Zoom, and many other participants in online live streaming also. So we welcome all of you to this session on Google Classroom under the Paramar scheme. So thank you for joining us, and I'll be discussing about Google Classroom, but I'll just go for a presentation in the beginning, and later I will go for the live demonstration of Google Classroom. So I'll just go for my presentation now. So I am from this college, Marian College, Kuttikanam. And this is far away from Maharashtra. And today morning also we had a program, and we were saying that we collaborated with a college in Guwahati, 3,500 kilometers away from Kerala. And this is some of the positive sides of COVID-19. It brings us an avenue for collaboration, bringing up new events, new kind of activities. So I am from this college. It is situated at a beautiful hill station of Kerala. And we are an autonomous college, and lot of similarities, like we are also 3.52, and we also have the potential for excellent status. And also we are under the Paramar scheme. We are mentoring 7 colleges. So a lot of similarities are there. So it was mentioned. And just to remind you about something, I'm just comparing about the technologies which we have experienced in our life. In communication technology, we have seen the changes happening in our life. In home entertainment, we have seen the changes happening. And in automobile industry, we also have seen what was happening, maybe over the 100 years. But if you compare the classrooms, this is supposed to be an illustration in BC, that means 2000 years ago. And if you compare a classroom with the present situation, if it would not have been COVID-19, it would have been almost looking like the same. In the left side, you can see a photo of a classroom 100 years old and a present day classroom, and we don't see much changes. But when it comes to our students, they are changing. We are catering to a special category of students called Generation Z, and previously they were called Millennium Generation, and now they are called Generation Z. And they are born into technology. They prefer to use technology in whatever they do, whether it is teaching learning process or shopping or any entertainment. They prefer to do it by using technology and their handheld devices. And when we think about millennium generation, they are information hungry. Even if we are good teachers, even if we teach them, if they are not Googling, if they are not searching by themselves, they are not satisfied. And they are social media savvy. They would like to have a social media kind of environment in whatever they do, even in teaching learning process. And they are content seekers. They prefer to have videos, they prefer to have online content, and they will be searching for online content. And we now have to keep it in mind that these students have got very short attention span, and they are visual learners. They always prefer to see things. And this recently I got it on my mobile from in WhatsApp. In 2019, it was the situation, mobiles are not allowed in schools. And in 2020, coming to school is not allowed, use only mobiles. And if it was, if the use of technology in life was visualized by accreditation agencies before, now it has become a mandatory requirement that all the teachers have to move into an ICT-enabled teaching learning platform, and we need to learn. Otherwise, we will be thrown away from the main part of the mainstream of teaching learning process. And dear participants, if you have a QR code scanner with you, it's fine. And even if you don't have, if you take few seconds for downloading a QR code scanner, we will have some interaction in between, because this is the biggest challenge in online teaching. Because when we teach, the students will log in for some time, and we may have the feeling that they are all attending, but they may be doing some side business. So student interactions and engaging the students online is going to be a the biggest challenge in online teaching, and we need to learn the tools for engaging our students. So before I move into Google Classroom, I will teach you one of the very useful tool which can be used for student engagement in your online sessions. And it comes to learning management systems, Google Classroom is a learning management system. Moodle is a learning management system. So learning management systems are software platforms where we can accommodate students. We can manage the students. We can admit the students into our classes, and then we can share all the resources with this. Sharing resources is going to be the primary aim of any learning management system. So you can create virtual classes in a learning management system like Google Classroom or Moodle. There you can admit your students as if you are admitting students into your classroom. And then there we can share our resources, whatever kind of resources you have. If you have documents, if you have video presentations, if you have audio files, if you have PowerPoint presentations, all such resources can be shared among your students. Then you can manage your students. Then you can have assessments. All the learning management systems will provide you the facilities for online assessments. Then calendar facilities will be there. If it is a Google Classroom, your Google Calendar itself is the calendar for your classroom. Then notifications for the students. If you are using a Google Classroom, you will be getting email notifications regarding major happenings, major events in the classroom. You will be getting email notifications for assignments, for quizzes, for adding resources. You will be getting email notifications. And even you can provide them certificates by using learning management systems. And in the beginning, Rohidas was telling like, we give a lot of importance for Moodle, and I thought of just giving a comparison between Google Classroom and Moodle, because many are asking whether to go for Google Classroom or Moodle. If you are going for Google Classroom, the best advantage I can tell you is simplicity. It is very simple. Anybody can migrate to Google Classroom. It is domain specific. And the one limitation, if I would say, if it is better to have a G Suite. G Suite means a common mail domain for your institution. If you have, it is better. Then it is in line with your Google Calendar and Google account. If once you have a Google account, you are into Google Classroom. Then can be easily integrated with other Google tools like Google Forms, Google Docs, or Google Quiz. You can integrate, and email notifications are there. But while coming to Moodle, it is feature rich. So only the teacher's imagination is the limit in Moodle. You have a lot of facilities. You can ask your suppose you want to give extra challenges for your advanced learners, there are facilities. And you can create databases. Many options are there. So it is feature rich, option rich, but it is a bit complicated. You need a dedicated support team if you want to implement Moodle. You need an administrator. And also, we need to maintain separate accounts for your students and teachers. So these are the differences between Moodle. So before I go into Google Classroom, immediately after this exercise, I'll be moving into Google Classroom. So before I move into Google Classroom, I would like to give you some activity in this. So I am inviting your attention to a site called Mentimeter. And if you have a QR code scanner, please scan this. Otherwise, take your mobile, open your browser, and please go to menti.com, and it will be asking you to enter a code, and that code is 242297. So we will have some interaction, and then I will go to a demonstration of Google Classroom. So please take your device. If you have a second device with you, it is fine. You take the second device. Either you scan this QR code or you type menti.com, and you will be prompted to enter a code. And please enter this code 242297 so that we can interact. The same way you can also interact with your students during online teaching. So I'll just stop this presentation. I'll come to my demonstration online. So you want to see the, so I'll show you that QR code once again. So this is the QR code, and or you can go to menti.com. 242297 is the code. So I will come to that page. Then so I'm getting responses. I hope you can also see this. So most of the teachers are familiar with Google Classroom, and Moodle, only 8 participants are familiar in Google Classroom. 47 are using Zoom, 43 Google Meet. So if you don't have that QR code, don't worry. You go to menti.com. It is here, and use the code 242297. Okay. So around 125, or it may be reaching 130. So 130 participants are already familiar with Google Classroom. So I'll teach you this tool. This is a very easy and very powerful tool. This is called Mentimeter. And if you want to use this, you please note down these two terms. Mentimeter is for the presenter. As a presenter, you create these kind of presentations in Mentimeter, and you ask your participants to go for menti.com and they can participate. So in between your sessions, if you are having an online session, it is better to have a session like this, so that you can ensure that your participants are not sleeping or they are not doing some other business. You can get back their attention by using this tool. Okay, so 172 participants are 175 participants are using this tool. So we'll have one more small exercise in this. So now your screen will be changing. Now the question is, what is the biggest challenge in using ICT tools in teaching learning? So it is internet. So now your screen might have changed. You can now give me a response. What is the biggest challenge in using ICT in teaching? Okay, then this internet is on the center and it is in bigger font, because most of the participants have a feeling that connectivity and internet is the biggest challenge in teaching ICT tools or using ICT tools. So please note down this. Mentimeter.com is the site which I am using. So when you go to mentimeter.com, so you can, just by using your Google account, you can log into mentimeter.com. And once you enter into this, you will be seeing a screen like this. And there you can create a new presentation, give a presentation name. Give a presentation name, create a presentation. Then you decide on what is the type of the presentation. So here we have different types. Then you present it. It will generate a code. Ask your participants to join it with menti.com and share the code, and this will connect between your participants. and the presenter and the participants. Very easy tool, very useful, very powerful in contacting your students, ensuring that they are all participating and they are all watching your videos. Use these kind of tools in between. So my primary responsibility is to introduce Google Classroom today. So this just for engaging you, because this is an afternoon. We started at 4 o'clock, and so this Google Classroom is a learning management system. So I'll go to Google Classroom now. It is a learning management system where you can do all the primary. It has got all the primary uh, facilities of a learning management system. You can use it for sharing resources. You can use it for assessments. You can use it as a communication media between you and your students. And also you can do a kind of assessments, and uh, um, uh, goal cues and assignments can be given. And then the first thing first, once you log into, this is my mailbox. So I have opened my personal mail box here, and also my G Suite, my institutional official mail ID is also here. So my personal mail ID is now open. And if you go to this Google Apps, these additional dots you see this side, if you go there, you can locate Google Classroom here. So I am into Google Classroom. So here I have created few classes. All are my classes. And if you want to create a new class, just by pressing here this plus button, you can create a new class. But I would like to tell you some limitations here. The problem is, suppose you take this class, and this, if I want to add my official G Suite account here as a participant, if I say, so if I try to add my official G Suite account as a participant of this class, it will give you an error message saying that you cannot invite from this domain. So this is the only limitation we have in Google Classroom. If you are using your personal Gmail account, then only the account holders with Gmail can be added as participants or added as teachers. So if you are using a Gmail account, then you cannot add the users or the students with the institutional domain accounts. For example, my email account, institutional mail ID is binu.thomas@mariancollege.org. This is also a Gmail account created in our institutional G Suite, and I cannot add any mail ID of this kind from my personal mail ID. In the same way, if I am creating from here also, I can create a Google Classroom. From here also, I can create a Google Classroom. But the problem is, if I am creating from my institutional G Suite account, binu.thomas@mariancollege.org, I can add students only from this G Suite, and also I can add teachers only from this G Suite. That means all the mail IDs I add here must be in this domain. It should be ending with mariancollege.org. So this is the only limitation. So if you are using Gmail account for creating Google Classroom, all the participants must be having a gmail.gmail domain. If you are using an institutional email ID for creating your Google account, a G Suite, then all the participants should be in the same G Suite. This is the first limitation we have. Then if I go to my personal mail ID, if I go to my Google Classroom, so this is my Google Classroom. I have created so many classes here. And the first thing, if you want to create a new class, so you can just create a new class here. So you agree, and if you go for continue, you give a new class name. So I say sample class 1. So I have just created a Google Classroom. Then if you want to divide it into different sections, as if we have the units in syllabus, if you can have section 1, then you can just have different sections. And the subject also, if you want to give a subject, you can give So like this, you can give more description about this classes. So, and by clicking on this, now I am creating a class, a new class is being created. So I am just creating a class, waiting for Google to create this. The class is created. So this is a new class, entirely fresh new class, where I don't have any participant. It is only a placeholder where I can add my participants, where I can add my students, where I can add my co-teachers. If you, a few of more teachers, if you want to add, suppose you are co-teaching, two teachers are teaching the same subject, then you can have more teachers, and we can add teachers, students. So if you want to add students and teachers, you go to people, and there, if you want to add a teacher, you just type in. You just type in. So here I have one more account, but this I cannot because gina.joseph@mariancollege.org I cannot, because it is, the domain is mariancollege.org. So, but I can invite a teacher having a Gmail account. So if I invite now, she becomes a co-teacher, so that an email notification will be sent to her now, and she becomes a member of this class. And if you want to add students, either you can copy and paste the students. Suppose you have the email account of your students, you can just copy and paste it here, or one by one, you can just select, you can just go for the email accounts, and you can invite them, so that they will all become the students of this class. So this is how we create a class, and this is how we add students. And also, here there is a code. Class code is, so this class code is 3EO. So there is a code generated for this class. So if we are not inviting your students personally, or if you are not adding your students personally, you just circulate this code among your students by using some WhatsApp group or some bulk mail. You just pass this information that those who want to join for this class, please join by using this code. So when we go to this in Google Classroom, when we go to this plus button in Google Classroom, when you go to this plus button, there is an option join class. So your students can join to a class by just by clicking on this plus button and joining the class, and just by entering that code, the students can join for the class by themselves. So you can also, if you are not uh, able to add your students manually by yourself, you can just pass this class code among your students, and they can join by themselves. So this way you can create a class. So I have demonstrated 2 steps now, how to create a class, how to add more teachers, how to add more students, and also you can now see how the students can join themselves by using the class. So once again, I go to this sample class. Now the students have, we have added the students. And then next is the classwork. How we can add resources, how we can give activities, how we can have some other kind of resources, and how we can ask a single question to students. All this comes under classwork. And this stream comes like, this is a communication. So just by typing something here, you can communicate to the students. So this is a kind of discussion forum. So whatever you type here, it will be, so once the students join into their class, they will also be see the communication sent by the teacher. They can also reply you. So this stream, this side will become a communication channel between the students and the teachers. So I will go to the classwork, where we can create assignments, we can create other resources. So I have just gone to the classwork, And if I click on this create, you have the option assignments, quiz, question, material, and reuse the post. So reuse the post means suppose you have given some instructions and messages in a other class, it can be taken and posted it here. So the first thing first, I will show you how you can add a material. So just click on this material. And so material means we are giving resources for our students. And you can give a title for the material. You see, you type, please refer this document. And if you want to give a description for this, you can give a description like you please, this is the lecture note for the sessions I have taken in this morning or something like that. If you want to give a description for your students, you can type the description. And from your computer, suppose you want to add something, then if you click on this add, again we have options like suppose the material is from your Google Drive, you can just share it, you can just share the link from your, you can just give a link to the document which you have in your Google Drive. If it is a link, suppose you are uploading your videos to your YouTube and you want to share it here, just by clicking here, you can add it. YouTube, we have entirely another option. Suppose you have located a very good resourceful page, and if you want to give a link to that page to your students, you can click on this link. And if you want to upload something from your local hard drive, you can upload it from your we can upload from our computer. It can be uploaded into Google Classroom. So this way we can add resources. So this is a title, this is a description, and here we add some resources from either from Google Drive or a link to a page or a file from your local computer or a YouTube video you can share, or suppose you want to create it by your own. From here itself we can create. Suppose you want to create a Google Doc and share it to the students, you can create Google Slides or Google Sheets or forms. All these Google tools can be created from here and it can be shared among your students. So this is how we share the resources among students. And finally, after selecting or after creating, you can post, so that we have added. So posting means we have added this resource to our Google Drive. So in our class, now we have one classwork. This is a resource, and this is the one which I have created just now. So like this, you can give them any number of resources. You can either from your hard disk or from Google Drive or from net, you can give them resources. So this is the primary responsibility of or primary use of any learning management system, sharing resources among our participants. So these resources will be available for all the participants you have added by using this people's option. Then I will show you how you can create an assignment. So you just go for an assignment, give a title, submit the assignment here. Then here also, if you want to give some instructions, suppose you are giving them some files, and if you are asking them to read this file, go through this file and give the answer. And the question also you can explain here. So you can say like this, please go through the document attached and give a brief description about give a brief about parameters. So like this, we can create a assignment. So like this, you can give an assignment. And with this assignment, suppose you want to add something, you can ask them to watch a video and answer some. Suppose you are teaching English, you can ask the students to watch this video and answer these questions. So here the same way you can attach files and other things, or if you want to create something and attach, you can create and attach. So this way you can create an assignment, and once you click on this assign option, now this is assigned to the class. Now I am assigning this to the class. Now this assignment is assigned to the class. So this is how we create assignments. Then next is a quiz assignment. So how you can add a quiz to the assignment, add a quiz to our class. So I say, just say, so I just say answer these questions. So like this, you can give descriptions. And here also, before you create the quiz, if you want to give some reference documents, you can add your reference documents, or you can create your reference documents. And I'm just going to create the quiz here. So I'm just clicking on this. So I'll be going to another window where I can create the quiz. So I have to type the questions one by one. So I say, so like this, I can add options. Then after adding options, so if I click on this, again, I can add one more questions. So like this, you can add any number of questions into your quiz. And after that, once you click on the question, we need to answer an answer key also. So this is very important. Most of the time we forget this. So you select the question and you decide on the answer. You select the correct answer. And also, this is a big mistake most of the time we do. Please set this points. So if this correct answer comes, how much point we need to give to the students. So that way you can set the answers. Then you can go to the question number 2. Then, so like this, you can create any number of questions. So this is how we create a Google quiz. And from here itself, if you want to send this to us, you after creating this, suppose you want to send it manually, you can send it manually from here. Or if you want to have a link of this, you can take, this is just like a Google quiz, Google form which we create. So like this, we can send it from here. So this is how we create a quiz. So this is saved. Now this quiz is created, and if you want to give a name for this quiz, so like this, you can give a name and it is saved. Now you see this quiz is created. Then if I go to my Google Classroom, now I have the quiz also added to my class. So we have now seen how to add a resource, how to add an assignment, and how to add a quiz, and how to add the answer key for the quiz, how to set the marks for the quiz. Like this, the quiz portion we have seen. Now, a question means it is a single question. So there, the question means the students can just give the answer for one question. So just like an assignment, we can create a question, and you can ask the question here. So where is question? And if I click on ask, now this is added. So Google Classroom, we have seen how to add people, how to add classwork. And now I will show you how we can go for evaluation. So I have some classes here where the students have submitted some assignments and quizzes. So I'll show you how you can evaluate your. So here you can see these are the chats, our communication from our participants. So whatever they type, whatever they try to communicate, it will be appearing like a discussion forum here. And if I go to classwork, then if I want to evaluate an assignment, if I click on this, you will be getting something like this. It means this was assigned to 29 participants and only 7 have submitted the assignments. And if I want to evaluate these 7 assignments, so if you want to give a mark here itself, you can give the mark. So if you want to see a submitted assignment, so if I go to this 100 in means it is handed in, and if you want to see the assignments one by one, you can open it here, and in the left side here you can give marks. So if I give 10, so this mark is given, and there is a process called returning the assignment. So in manually also, when students submit the assignments, we will be grading the assignments, and if after evaluating we need to return. So you can just download the grade sheet. So if you download the grade sheets, you will be getting the grades of the quiz. So this, since we have already entered the evaluation key to the quiz, automatically the quiz will be evaluated, and you can download the grade sheet. So this is how you evaluate the quiz and also the grade sheet. And also if I go to this sample class, then if you go to this marks, you can see the entire marks secured by the participants in all the activities. So that way you can see the marks assigned to the participants, and most of the activities I have not graded. If you grade all the activities, you can see the marks given to the students or the participants. So that way you can see the overall grade book of your participants. So this is how we manage the Google Classroom. So I have demonstrated how you can create a Google Classroom, how you can add participants to the Google Classroom as students and teachers, how the students can join by themselves if you are circulating the code. Then we have seen how you can add different activities to Google Class, how you can give a resource, how you can give an assignment, how you can give a quiz, how you can give a simple question. Then I have also shown you how you can see the grade book of your participants, and also how you can download if you want to download the mark for the single quiz, how you can download. So these are the fundamental things you can do in a Google Classroom. And later tomorrow, I think we have another session on adding rubrics to Google Classroom, where you can add rubrics for evaluation of the Google Classroom. And this is a fundamental introduction to Google Classroom. Then while going for, I have one or two slides which I would like to tell you while going for an online while using an so while using your one second. So while using your Google Classroom or Moodle LMS, from our experience, please follow these tips. Pre-recorded videos are better than online videos because from your responses also, you were raising the issues like internet and connectivity is a big challenge in online teaching. So if you are going for all the time online videos, the students may not be able to join the class. So it is always better to record your videos, upload this to YouTube, and then share it as if I have demonstrated just now by using a Google Classroom. The advantage is whenever they have connectivity, or they can go to a location where they have connectivity and they can download and watch their videos. It is always better than online classes. So it is better to use an LMS like Moodle or Google Classroom to manage your classes, and limit your videos maximum to 10 minutes, because the students do not need, especially the modern students, they don't need everything from our mouth. So even if we give them proper direction and a proper introduction for 10 minutes, and if you give them sufficient materials, your PowerPoint presentations, link to other videos, your some other lecture notes, if you can give them, they will very well manage. So, but the problem is the students have got very less attention span. So if we prolong our videos, they won't be watching our videos. So always better to confine our videos to 10 minutes and use some learning reinforcement techniques. So use some Google Quiz. Just now, what I have shown you just now, or simply you can create Google Quiz and its link can be shared in your presentation, or convert it into a QR code, ask them to scan. So make our sessions more interactive. You can use Kahoot, or you can use tools like Mentimeter or Padlet in your presentations, and so that we can have some reinforcement techniques and have interactions with our students once in. So it doesn't mean that we should not be using online interactions. At least we have to meet the students online twice, once in 2 days, so that we can just interact with them, so that the students will have a feeling that we are with them and we are supporting them. And we can use this LMS discussion forums regularly. In Google Classroom, we have very easy discussion forum tools, and also in Moodle also we have discussion forums. So use this discussion forums tools regularly, so that the students will have a feeling that their queries, their discussions are answered and attended by the teachers. And never delay the assignments. If they are coming to our institution, a college physically, even if we delay the assignments for 1 or 2 weeks, we are meeting. But if since we are not meeting personally, if we delay the assignments for a long time, they may lose interest and they may have a feeling, they may not be submitting the assignments in time next time. So to ensure that we are interested in their activities, we are interested in their submissions, please submit, check the assignments within 24 hours and return back. And there are some other tools like S5P and all, where you can even add interactions to your videos. You can insert questions into your videos. It is a very user-friendly free tool, S5P, where you can add interactions to your videos. A link can be given. So while watching the video itself, some questions will be popping up and you can answer, the students can answer, so that watching the video itself will be more engaging for the students. So with this, I will conclude. So this is my phone number, and we offer some online courses as Rohidas sir was mentioning. And if you want to visit our courses, you can go to mariancollege.org, events.php. All our courses are listed there. So we will come for some interactions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Binu sir. It was really a
Thank you, sir.
wonderful session. Sir, please. Principal Jadhav, sir, please.
Hello.
Yes, sir, you were speaking something. Continue.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, I want to know, is it necessary to took the GSET only, or because if there are the different type of the Google Classroom, if we start different type of the classroom, suppose, and we took the G Suite, then is it necessary to took the G Suite, or Google Classroom may be separately started by each and every department?
So from our personal experience, even if we have a G Suite, it is very difficult for our students to force them to use this official institutional mail ID, because now they are not also with us. So it will be very difficult. So better to use personal Gmail account, and we can have separate Google Classrooms for department. That will be the practical option from our experience.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful presentation. There are many surprising things, and you also validated the amount, the number of participants that are there in the Zoom meeting as well as online, and you took an attendance for us. Thank you for that. This is how it gives us how speakers like you are, master in the using technology. Thank you. Now we may have a question and answer session. I request participants to raise their hands in the Zoom meeting so that we can give opportunity to you. And on the first, I could see that there is Manisha ma'am. Please unmute yourself, ma'am, and raise your doubt. Yes.
Sir, I would like to ask one question. Can we give instruction in regional language?
In Google Classroom.
In Google Classroom, whatever we are going to upload it, the instruction should be in English. But so many students are not getting English. So can we, there is a facility to add instruction in regional languages. That is Hindi, Marathi, that's all.
This, of course, it is supporting other languages. So if it is in Moodle, we have other facilities, but in Google Classroom, I have not seen any Google Classroom in other languages. So I just, let me see. So far I have not seen any in a Google Classroom people using other languages. So this is the situation. So I think it is a limitation in Google Classroom. We can use only the English at present. They are only in the developing stage. So presently only English is supported.
Okay, sir. Then we have Nasing Ingati. Please unmute yourself and raise the doubt.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Sir, can we conduct final exam through this portal to Google Classroom and then through Mentimeter?
A Mentimeter is not a very serious tool, sir. It is only for a kind of engagement and just for energizing the student we can use, because it cannot be used for a very serious purpose. Then, yeah, of course, in Google Classroom, we are using a Google Classroom or Moodle for final year examination. So there, we
how, sir?
technically.
Is it are the student needed to assemble? Are the student needed to assemble in one particular place while conducting exam?
Pardon?
So do we need to assemble all the students in a one particular place to conduct final exam through Google Class?
Rohida sir, could you
No,
repeat the
actually,
question? Do
yes,
we?
yes. Do we need to assemble all the students in one particular place for conducting Google Classroom exam for examination through Google Classroom?
Yes, we are conducting using Google Classroom, and when
Yes, sir. But do we need to
when
assemble all
when
the
we
students in one
when
particular place?
when we give questions, we give some practical oriented questions so that they cannot copy, and they cannot also copy from Google. So like this, we are creating some kind of tricky questions so that exams can be conducted in Google Classroom. For example, if I give you an example of a question which we have asked, please give the uh, please write the statements for a role play. Like that, we have added questions. So if we ask the students to write the statements for a role play in a particular case, that they cannot copy from any other source. So for conducting this kind of questions, setting up question is a bit tricky. Or we are asking questions like, if you are going to meet a tax consultant, what kind of questions you will be asking? So these kind of questions we are asking for the final examination to meet the present requirement. We are also forced to conduct our examinations by using Moodle, and tomorrow we are starting another set of examination where our continuous exams are about to happen, and we are going to conduct it in Moodle, descriptive kind of questions. And sometimes we even ask our parents to supervise also. They have to send a photo where their parents are standing behind.
Okay, sir. Thank you. We have Shilpa Mahendrita Datta. Please unmute yourself and raise your doubt. Madam, are you there?
Yes, yes, sir. Sir, actually, I want to know that I am a teacher. I am a teacher in a school, and I want to know that what is the difference between a Google Classroom and Google, because we can send the assignment in a Gmail account also. We can send through the Gmail, their mail IDs also. Then what is the difference between a Google Classroom and
Madam,
because assignments so we can send through the mail IDs also. Google Classroom, the meaning should be we can see the students visually also. We want to see the students visually also while doing the assignments. This is only my question.
So, madam, the problem is, suppose you are batching, you are teaching 3 batches of students,
Okay.
three different years, and if you are sending emails, suppose in our case, and we have 60 students, and if you are teaching 3 batches, 180 students, and if you are manually managing this 180 emails, getting them back, segregating, and what you have to download the assignments, correct it, and the entire marks you have to exactly enter into an Excel sheet. You have to manage everything manually. But in Google Classroom, you are managing as if you are managing your classroom. You have 3 different classes. You have all your participants there. Give only one assignment. Otherwise, you will have to send 60 mails, 180 mails to the students. And you you evaluate automatically. The grade sheet is prepared. So if you have a very small class, maybe 20-25 students, this will work. You can manage them by email or WhatsApp. You can manage. But when the classroom size increases, number of batch increases, by a conventional email or by using WhatsApp, it will become unmanageable when you have many activities. So in our case and all, we have many activities, and since we are teaching in an online mode, uh, every now and then we have to give them some activities, and if you are sending all these activities by email, we will not be able to manage this. But if you are using an LMS, whether it is a Google Classroom or Moodle, you are creating a virtual class where all your participants are there, and for them you can give the activities, you can give the resources. You don't have to email them personally. That is the advantage.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now we have Asmita Sanjuman. Please unmute yourself and raise the doubt.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sir, I need to ask you that I am a school teacher. My students are from the range of 6th to 8th standard. I have already started using Google Classroom for them. So in that case, what happens is when they submit their assignments, some are sending it in a Word format, some are sending it in a PDF format, some are sending it like a screenshot of a page on which they are writing. So how can I train them to do something on a standard pattern? Means everyone will follow a same pattern. What can I do for that?
So if it is a school for children, I think it will be better you set up a conventional system that my children and all, they always the teachers are preferring that you write it on a paper and take a photo and upload. So I think it is better you set up a convention saying that you all the submission should be like this. And for school children, it is better always to insist that they have to write. And so better to, you can give an instruction like that. In that, when you are giving that assignment, there is a description window. There you can clearly mention that this is the mode of submission you are expecting. So that way, you can insist that one mode of submission you can insist.
Okay. And so when these assignments are to be returned back, they go back as the same image as the student has sent it.
Yes.
So when
Yes.
I have to
Yes. Only thing.
the checked copy, how can I share it?
So just by returning, it is only a confirmation sending to your student saying that the teacher has evaluated this, mark is given, and a confirmation will be sent to them. That's all.
So how will
you don't have to do anything manually. Just after evaluating, after grading, the only thing is you have to click on that return button, and it is only an indication to the student that you have evaluated and you are just giving them the mark and returning. That's all.
So the mistakes need not be pointed out on the sheet where
that you can in the right where you are evaluating, there you can write the comments.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So that the corrected sheet need not be shared back to them.
No. So you can write the comments where it is expected to be. You can write it there, the comments, and just by pressing the return, it will be a notification will be sent to the students. That's all.
Sir, we have with us Angela Thompson. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Can you hear us, Angela Thompson? Yeah.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I want to ask 2-3 questions, like how to incorporate Mentimeter in Google Classroom, first one. Then when I'm taking the quiz back, I cannot open it. I want to view, because a short answer question, long answer questions which we are putting, to evaluate it, I want to view it. No? That is not possible. Is there any other way to view it? And another about attendance, taking attendance.
Taking attendance.
Yeah.
Taking attendance. Okay, the Mentimeter, this option is from there you can copy the. I will show you. I will share my screen. One second. So this from Mentimeter, while you are presenting, you can just copy this URL. This can be copied and it can be pasted where we give a resource, or when we give a resource or assignment, there is an option to give a link. So there you just paste this link so that the students will be directed to the Mentimeter. So that way you can link between Google Classroom and Mentimeter. Not only with Mentimeter, any other application you can link. Okay. But since I'm in Moodle, I'm working in Moodle. In the beginning, I was just mentioning like Moodle is feature rich. So the advantage of Moodle is if you copy and paste it in Moodle, this will start working in Moodle. Here, by using the link, the students will go to Mentimeter. But if you are using Moodle, this application will start working in Moodle, so that it is called LTI, Learning Technology Interoperability. Moodle supports that. So that way you can manage other applications, Mentimeter or Kahoot, or you can give a link there. It's fine.
Okay.
Then taking attendance, as such in Google Classroom, we don't have attendance, but you can do one thing. You can give a simple quiz, and you can ask your students to participate immediately after the session. And once they attend, that is what we do. But in Google Meet, we have the attendance extension and all. So if you are using a Google Meet, automatically the attendance can be taken. But if you are using Google Classroom, and if you want to ensure that the students have attended, please give a very simple kind of assignment, quiz. And once they attend the quiz, it is a proof that they have joined or they have taken, they have entered into your classroom. So that way you can manage.
But
And
in Google Meet also, sir, no direct link is there, no, for attendance?
no, Google Meet, there is once you are using Google Meet, there are a category of add-ons are available called Chrome extensions. Have you heard about that? Google Chrome extension. Google Chrome extension. So there is an attendance extension. You add that attendance extension to Google Chrome, then automatically when you start your meeting, a small window will be appearing. There all the participants list will be there. It can be downloaded either as an Excel file or as an HTML file, and everything will be there. When the participants joined and when they left, and if they have rejoined, every information will be there. So like this, you please note this Google Chrome attendance extension. It can be easily added to your Google Chrome.
Okay.
Then regarding correction of assignments, I don't know what is your problem, because so far I have not met any problem in correcting my assignments. If I am sharing this, if I go to my sample assignments and all, so if I click on this, handed in, I see all my assignments here.
But whether we can see the assignment, each and every one.
If I click here, I go to, it will be opened.
And the same way it is coming.
Now this is so these are all teacher participants, and they might not have submitted, because we have offered this for teachers, and I think that they have submitted without any document. So you see, no attachment comes. They have not submitted anything. That is why it is. So if they have submitted, just by clicking on that, we will be going to the attachment.
Okay, sir.
That attachment will be displayed here. So no attachment is there. Without any attachment, they just submitted. That's all.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Sir, we could see there are many questions in chat box related to the evaluation. To the participants, I would like to remind that tomorrow we have a special session on how to make evaluation in Google Classroom by Professor Dilip Barad, Professor and Dean, Faculty of Humanities, Bhavnagar University, Gujarat. One more question. I think it is easy question. What is the maximum number of students that we can take in? Is it 1,000, sir?
Yeah, as such, anyway, your class size will not limit to Google Classroom. Up to 1,000 you can go, because we were offering classes, and we have accommodated up to 450 participants, and there is no limit.
We have Dr. Pandurang Kalyankar, who is long since waiting for us. Please, sir, unmute yourself and ask the doubt.
Okay, sir, Dr. Kalyankar from Aurangabad.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Sir, my question related to the time schedule of the various classes, because various teachers or college professors are creating various Google classrooms, and in regular college we are preparing timetables, but here how a student can manage various classes, how he manage, and another, it is not my questions, but my answer for the previous question that is asked by the one madam, that Google Classroom has supported the other language. Yes, Google Classroom is supported other language because there is an extension for the Google Classroom, Google Doc, and Google Doc have a facility to translate. The Google Doc translate any language. And we are also preparing, I am from the economics background, and we are preparing our Google Classroom in the Marathi language. So it supports all the language, I think that. But my question related to the, what is your experience? Because you are using a Google Classroom from the many years, but we are the new person in that particular field. And my question related to how the students can manage time schedules. Okay, thank you, sir. Please.
Okay. So regarding that different language problem, Madam was asking whether in Google Classroom instructions, where this class name and all those things comes, whether other language can be
interface
used. That I have not seen. Otherwise, if you go to the other Google tools, everywhere we have the language flexibility, and language barrier is not a problem in the Google. But in Google Classroom as such, whether we can use other languages, I have not seen, but maybe there. And schedule. So I can tell you our experience, because we are also from a very remote location, because Idukki district is considered as one of the underprivileged locations of Kerala. It is in a hill station, as I have told, and many of our students are not having direct internet connectivity. They have to travel even for getting connectivity. So we have made it we are using learning management systems extensively, and this is the advantage of learning management systems other than online classes also, because we ensure that all the lessons will be appearing in a learning management system. We are using Moodle, and there the students have to log in at least twice in a week, and they don't have to they don't have to attend the online sessions continuously as if we are taking in classes from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. continuously. We are not offering. And if you start offering like this, it will become there may be issues. And if you are offering online classes, online sessions like that, proper scheduling, proper timetabling from the department side should be there. Otherwise, the students will be in trouble, because we have a notion that these students are sitting idly at home. They don't have any other work, and all will be giving assignments, all will be giving video lessons. And there should be proper scheduling in giving online lessons, giving assignments, giving other activities. But if you are using a learning management system like Google Classroom or Moodle, all the resources are there, all the activities are there, and we are giving a leverage. We are giving some time span also for them, maybe assignment 1 week. So within that time span, time limit, they can complete. So that way, if you are using a learning management system, the students can accommodate with the learning management, the new era of ICT-enabled teaching learning, or the new changes happening, so that even if they are not connected completely, they will be able to manage. So please use such facilities. And if you are using online sessions, please schedule it centrally. That is my suggestion.
Thank you, sir. We have Smita Ajaygaonkar Nayak. Please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Sir, I want to know how to add that quiz in a presentation. And you mentioned about giving link of the quiz in that PPT. So how to do that? Please tell me, sir.
Okay, ma'am. 1 second. So shall I go to my presentation now? I'll go to the presentation mode. So suppose you have a quiz like this. Just copy this quiz, a URL, copy this, and you search for, you take Google and search for QR code generator. And this is a free online service available, QR code generator. You just paste it, you just paste the URL you have. So anyway, while creating a Google quiz, you will be getting this. It can be copied, and you just copy this image and paste it in your presentation. And while presenting, you just ask your students to scan this QR code so that directly they will be going to the quiz and there they can attend. So by using QR codes, it can be easily managed. Okay. So this way you can even take attendance also. At the end of the session, you just ask them to scan this QR code and give them a one-word answer or something. Ask them to, or you can just start a Google quiz question like, "Are you present?" If they press yes, their attendance will be marked. Just by using this QR code, it can be. So it is only the imagination and creativity of the teacher matters here.
Sir, we are having with us Purnima Patel. Madam, please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. This is Purnima Patel, Assistant Professor from Mata Gujri College, Jabalpur. Sir, actually, I take classes of PG students. So my first question is that what, according to you, will be the better option for me? Should I take the online classes on Google Classroom or Moodle?
Madam, this Google Classroom, if you have all the options available there, but the problem is if you just know the code, you have seen the code which I have created. No, if anybody knows this code, they can join to your class, and you don't have much control over there. But if you go to Moodle, I will show you my our Moodle site. So all this courses, these are the courses which we use for training our teachers. So all the courses will be listed there. In Moodle also it will be listed. But the problem is, if you want to join for this course, we need a specific account here, and we need the administrator has to create account, and they only with the proper Moodle account they will be able to join into this course. And in Google Classroom, on the other hand, anybody who knows the code with a valid Gmail account will be able to log in, will be able to join your course even without your willingness. So that is the limitation. And then for a PG program, Google Classroom has particularly very limited activities, like you can give an assignment, as I have demonstrated, you can give an assignment, you can give a quiz, you can give a single question, that's it. We don't have much other options there. But if you are using a Moodle, I will open Moodle, so a course here. So Moodle LMS creation. And if you go to Moodle, so instead of a single assignment or simple activity, Moodle supports this many activities and resources for to be added. And also, in addition to this, lot of plugins are available. Third-party plugins are available. So depending on your requirement, Moodle will scale up. And recently, yesterday, we have decided that in our college, the continuous assessment examination will be conducted in Moodle, and this will be a descriptive type where students have to write on a paper and they have to upload the photographs of the answer scripts. But for each student, the questions will be different. So the questions will be randomly generated from a question bank, and so that we can ensure that no two students will be getting the same kind of descriptive questions. So such a flexibility and scalability is available in Moodle, but Google Classroom being simple and being user-friendly and but attached with your Google account, it has got the simplicity, but limitations are there. Not much options are there. So if you want to really explore the learning management systems and all the facilities available there, Moodle is the best choice.
Thank you, sir. We are having with us Dr. C.K. Mallika. Please unmute yourself and ask the question. Dr. C.K. Malik.
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I have two questions for you, sir. The first one is, you have just mentioned in the quiz just a multiple choice, but I think there are very many questions, type of questions. That is the one thing.
Yeah.
Can we assign?
Many types are there.
Yeah. Can we assign a time limit for the quiz?
Yes, we can assign time limit for a quiz. We can schedule when to start and when to close. All those things we can set up.
How to, sir?
In quiz, while setting the quiz, it is available there. You can set up when it should be, when to open this, when to close. All the settings are available there.
Okay, sir. Then we have Narendra Naidu with us. Narendra, sir, unmute yourself and ask the doctor.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. It has been a very lucid and interesting session. I have just a simple question to ask. You mentioned about G Suite.
Yes.
So I belong to a modern college, is autonomous in Pune, in Maharashtra. We are Arts Science Commerce College, and we are also practicing LMS from last year.
Okay.
We are using LMS for also for notes and also for marks evaluation.
Okay.
So this year we'll be using it for teaching because of this online COVID. So I just want to ask whether if the students are given personal IDs and passwords, is it okay?
If you are using G
In the
Suite,
domain, yes.
then we need to give the students their own personal, your domain specific mail IDs and passwords. Then only we will be able to.
Yes. So, but that would be safe also.
Yeah, that will be safe also. And otherwise, if you are using a Gmail account, the problem is while linking your quiz with your grade sheet, there are problems. If all the facilities of Google Classroom will work if you are using a G Suite. It will not, all the facilities will not work with the personal Gmail accounts, especially the linking between quiz and the grade book.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much.
We are having with us Agrawal, sir. Please unmute yourself and ask the question. Are you here with us, sir? Agrawal, sir?
Thank you, sir, for allowing me to speak. It was a very nice session. I've been using Google Classroom for last 3 weeks.
Okay.
And in this much time, I have already used up nearly around 1 GB of my Gmail account space. Means G space I have already used.
Okay.
So thinking that in the near future, if I continue using this Google Classroom, I will be using up all my 16 GB of data. So how to overcome such kind of situations?
So are you uploading videos directly to Google Classroom?
No, sir. I'm using YouTube, but the notes and materials I was sharing with them, and I was taking assignment. Children were taking the photographs, and they were sending it to me. So multiple pages were going on, and so the data is used up too much. Hard disk space.
Okay. So one possibility is if you have one more account to spare, you can upload to that the drive of another account and give a link to your documents from there. Because anyway, with your Google Classroom, the student submissions will come. Anyway, more and more data will be adding up to your drive. So if you have one more account to spare, all your resources can be uploaded into the drive of that account, and you can give a link here. So that way you can manage. And another thing is, so there will be some business behind all this. Even if we say Google Classroom is free, when all are using this, definitely at the end we will have to purchase their space also. We will have to go for a premium account. Otherwise, we will not be able to manage. So all are running business.
Okay. Sir, we will take a couple of questions only now. There are many hands still raised. There is a big queue to talk to you, but I think we are running out of time. So we have Dr. Raju Subba. Please unmute yourself and ask a question. Dr. Raju Subba, are you there?
Yeah, yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I have actually two questions. One is that can we take live class using Google Classroom? Number one.
Live.
And number two is that there are many LMS applications these days. All the teachers are using in their classroom, especially in this pandemic situations. But now, today, I'm learning Google Classroom, and tomorrow I'll be using this thing. And in this way, all the teachers are using different, LMS applications, and students are very much confusion. Students are in confusions that how to reduce this very confusions among the students. I have this question.
So what
They
was
are
your
not
first
able to
question?
actually
The voice
apply.
was breaking.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What was the first question? I couldn't hear you because
Can we
the
take
line
sir
was breaking.
live class using Google Classroom? Can we take live class?
Google Classroom as such we don't have live. So there we have to use the Google Meet. The integration I have not seen. Google Meet integration with the Google Classroom, I have not seen. Then the other one is a big concern because the teachers are using their own choices. Some may be using Moodle, some may be using Google Classroom,
Yes,
some
sir.
others are using WhatsApp, Facebook, like this. But the problem is, I don't know the situation there. Here, the government is asking regular reports from the principal. So a central decision has taken from in our institution saying that no official WhatsApp group, no official Facebook pages for managing the classes. All should be done either through we have the centralized Moodle installation. So all the official classes have to be created in Moodle or in an LMS. If it is a Google Classroom, it is fine. The advantage is you will be able to show, you will be able to produce some reports. When somebody is asking what you are doing, you will be able to produce a report. But if many teachers are using different platforms and there is no centralized coordination, if somebody is asking what you are doing during this pandemic time, how the classes are managed, we will not be able to produce a proper report. So this decision has to be taken from a higher authority saying that, and some proper instructions have to be given saying that these kind of centralized or a normalization should be there, either a Google Classroom or some other tool. All the teachers must be using that and a regular report should be there. Then only we will be able to manage the situation. From the top authority it has to come.
Sir. Actually, sir, here in my college, the principal instructed that you have to start online classes, and so every teachers are taking, sir, in a different platforms the classes are going on. So in that way, students are saying that, sir, which applications to download and where to, respond it, and we don't know. We have not learned this very application, so these are confusions going on. Thank you so much,
So
sir.
that has to come from a top level, and some
Yes,
standardization should be there.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Hello, sir. We are having BG Patil sir with us. Sir, please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I have only one question for you. The problem is timing. Most of the students, as you told, may not have time to go online because we are having rural colleges. You advise to go for videos. Videos are to be uploaded on YouTube. But you said maximum the time of a video is to be 10 minutes. I'm from social sciences, wherein when I teach fundamental rights, if you have to teach right to equality, it itself takes around 25 to 30 minutes for me. How to manage that in 10 to 12 minutes? Because you said whatever you said is right. Within 10 to 12 minutes, the interest can be, the students can be controlled in that class. What technique is to be followed to condense the class from 25 minutes to 10, 12 minutes? Because I want to do justice to the topic if I complete it in 10 to 12 minutes.
Sir, whether it will be possible for them to give a sufficient introduction and by giving some other resources, some materials like notes or some PowerPoint presentation, or suppose you locate, we will have to do some homework. If you locate a page, web page, where these concepts are explained very clear, neatly. If we can give to that page, so that way, if we give an introduction about the concept, and then if we can give them, if we can supplement them with sufficient material, then that way, if you could manage, that will be so. But as far as teachers are concerned, we will have to do some homework. We will have to search for
Yes, the only
online
problem
resources.
is Article 14 to 18, they're interrelated. I can't divide, when it comes, technically speaking, I can't divide the topic over there.
But there will be some web pages or resources which will be explaining this concept, and students will be able to learn by their own. Then in another interaction, you can ask them whether the topic was clear, or do you have some doubts, and doubt clearance sessions can be there. So that way, otherwise, taking a session and explaining the entire concept for half an hour, if the situation entirely demands that, of course, we will have to. Otherwise, the students are, I also have a survey report saying something, the students also prefer like very short videos, introductory videos, and supplementary materials they prefer.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Hello. We are having Richa Sharma with us. Please ask your question.
Thank you, sir. Sir, actually, I have two questions.
Please speak in a high pitch, please. You are not audible.
Sir, I have two questions. Am I audible now?
Be a little bit louder, please.
Okay, sir. So I have two questions. First one is when we set a quiz for the class, I know that we can schedule the time. We can schedule it for a particular date and time, and we can also set that say students will be able to attempt that quiz in 20 minutes. But what happens after 20 minutes? Say I have set the time that quiz will start at 3 and it will end at 3:30. So what I have seen is that students are able to submit the quiz even after 3:30, but on the screen I'm able to see that students have submitted late, but still they are able to submit quiz late. So in this way I'm not able to assess the student performance on a fair basis, because some students have taken longer time in comparison to the others. So is there any alternative for this, where we can restrict the responses of the students after the due time?
So you are getting an information that they have submitted late, no?
Right, sir. Like after 3:35, at 3:35 or 3:40, they are submitting, and they have submitted late, but I'm not able to restrict their responses after the due time.
Okay. So that much I have not also explored, because they're setting the time, and so we are also getting the responses, and restricting the students we have not explored.
Again, I think it comes with the extension.
No, sir, it may be, but we can set the time. It's there. This option is available in the Google Classroom. Maybe restricting the student responses will come with some extension. And sir, I have another question. There is a feature called Google Meet in Google Classroom. When you are using it through the domain of your college.
Yeah, but if you are using G Suite.
Right, sir. Right, sir. So how can we conduct the class using that Google Meet option in Google Classroom?
So, but truly speaking, we also have not tried this Google Meet with our Google Classroom. So we have not experienced that. So these two questions I am not able to answer.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Usha Janapanna. Please unmute yourself and ask the question. And the last question for this day is Sugapriya, please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Sir, it's not like asking a question. Since I'm using Google Classroom, I guess I could assist sir.
Yeah.
Of course, if you are doing it for even engineering college students, of course, I'm from Velamal Engineering College. We are sending PPTs with recording, with our voice recorded in it. And students will listen to that and then they'll come for the lecture class. We can share Google Meet link in our Google Classroom. We have an option for that. They have to create a link for them and they must attach it, where if they click to that link, they'll be entering into Google Meet. When you go for the registered email IDs, you'll get that options. After that, the students will be joining us for the class and we can take the class in that. Since I'm using, just sir has tried a lot, so to help and assist, I've given this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. I think Professor Dr. Binu sir, actually I must thank you for not only explaining the things in detail, but also for giving the live demonstration on Google Classroom. I know your area of specialization is Moodle, and you will not dishearten us if we invite you for the next program on Moodle. I'm sure that you would extend your cooperation in future also. Really, thanks on behalf of MSP Mandal, Sri Shivaji College, Parbhani, all the stakeholders, teachers, administration, and on behalf of the participants also, I extend my sincere thanks to today's resource person, Honorable Dr. Binu Thomas sir, for his interaction and guidance to this UGC Paramarsh online FDP on information communication technology in teaching and evaluation. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me also. And thank you all participants for your interactions and patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. To my participant friends,